look at your daily market report on this Tuesday, the 19th day of August. A lot going on in the ag world this week. We've got the Pro Farmer Crop Tour taking place. Friday, the monthly cattle and feed report will be published. We'll get into those here in just a little bit and give you a little more information about that. But first, we'll take a look at what's going on around the auction barns today. Kingsville Livestock Auction expecting about 1,500 head. Very light run at Interstate Regional Stockyards in Cuba. Lolly Brothers Livestock Market in Macon. They're having a cow sale, only expecting about 150 head there. A light run at F&T Livestock Market today. Ozarks Regional Stockyards, they only had 500 head in overnight, so a light run there. Unionville Livestock Market, they're expecting about 1,000 head today. All of the barns around the state being impacted by the extreme heat that has yet to break. They're at Unionville today. They start off the sale with 4 loads of those Rockin R cattle. So the prices absolutely just unbelievable, and I know we say that day after day, but the first load that came in the ring today, 63 head of 871 pounds at $353.85. The price just kept climbing, and the fourth and final load today, 62 head of 862 pound steers at Unionville. They brought $357. Those cattle compared to a cattle that was sold from the same Rockin R Ranch consignment a month ago averaged about $240 a head more than last month. That equals about $15,000 per pot load higher than just 4 weeks ago. On Monday, Callaway Livestock Center, they sold 972 head. Most of the market there was full pot loads and part pot loads of yearling cattle. Most of the pot loads sold $20 higher than last week. There was a load of heavy 9 weights. It was $8 higher than last week. The steers in Callaway, medium and large ones, 6 to 7 weights, $429 to $444. 7 to 8 weights, $363 to $375. Load of 817 pound steers at $366 and a quarter. A load of 883-pound steers at $335, a load of 950-pound steers at $327 and a quarter. Some heifers, 5 to 6 weights, $381 to $414.50. Some 6 to 7 weight heifers at $358 to $389.50. At Joplin Regional Stockyards on Monday, light run there as well, 3,966 head. Compared to the previous week, the steers, $2 to $10 higher. Some heavy 7 weight sold up to $20 higher. Heifers under 7 and a quarter, $2 to $15 higher. The heavier weight heifers were $3 to $5 lower than last week, but remember last week they had a very heavy supply of those heavyweight heifers that sold extremely well. Taking a look at the pre-report estimates of the cattle on feed report that will be released this Friday. On feed numbers expected to be at 98.1% of a year ago, with a range of 97.4 to 98.6. Marketing's expected to be at 94.1% of a year ago, with a range of 93.9 to 94.4. And then placements are expected to be at 91.2% of a year ago, with a range of 87 to 94. Box beef cutout values just continue to climb higher. Choice up $3.96 this morning at $408.20. Select up $2.64 at $379.78. Those values based on 69 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds. The Choice Select spread at $28.42. Negotiated feedlot trades so far this week, still basically nothing. 250 head scattered around, mostly outside the 5-state feeding area. Last week, most of the trade took place in the northern plains. Very little trade in Kansas, and no trade reported hardly in Texas last week. Total volume last week was 59,039 head. The weighted average price on the live sales, $242.16. Dress sales at $382.87. Taking a look at the midday futures markets on the Mercantile Exchange, live cattle for August, 237 up 27. October 232.35 up 1 $1.17. December at $234.35, up 107. Feeder cattle for August up $3.20, $352.10. September up $3.22 at $354.15. October at $353.80, up $355. Lean hogs for October $90.10, down 2 cents. December $83 even, down 45, and February $85.82, down 42. Turning our attention to the grain markets. On Monday, the Pro Farmer Tour kicked off. That's actually boots on the ground, estimating the yields from around several states. On Monday, they covered South Dakota and Ohio. These numbers, kind of interesting to compare to the USDA estimates. They project, of course, a yield on the corn. However, on the beans, they just give pod estimates, as still a lot can change, and it's hard to judge that yield this early in the season when there's still quite a bit of growing time left. However, they do give comparisons from a year ago and 3 years ago. Kind of gives us an idea of what the potential crop might be. On Monday in South Dakota, the Pro Farmer pegged the corn yield at 174. That was slightly above the August USDA estimate of 168. The bean pods are counted in a 3 by 3 foot area. The count of pods for South Dakota, 1,188 pods. That was 15, almost 16% higher than the pod count from a year ago. In Ohio, the Pro Farmer corn yield, 185.69. That was actually quite a bit below USDA's August estimate of 196. The bean count at 1,287 pods per 3 by 3 foot area. That was up 4.66% from a year ago. Today on Tuesday, they'll be covering Indiana and Nebraska. Those results will be released at 8 o'clock this evening, and we'll give those to you first thing in the morning. Taking a look at the futures markets, corn contracts are 3 to 3 3/4 cent lower. September 3.79 1/4, December at 4.03, March at 4.20 1/2. Soybeans are 9 to 10 lower. September 10.11, November 10.31 1/4, January at 10.51. Wheat contracts are 4 to 4 1/4 lower at midday. September 4.98 1/2, December 5.20 3/4, March at 5.40. Soybean meal for December up $2 a ton, $282.40. Soybean oil for September down $1.47 a hundredweight at $51.80. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's your daily market report for Tuesday. This is Hancock.